It's the Tommy Sandhu podcast with Hyde Panaser. Hyde is a stand-up comedian. He's just so lovely. And I didn't mention the fact that he's single because I know he jokes about it in his stand-up and his single status. So if you've seen Hyde live, you'll know how brilliant he is. You know how funny he is. And only recently I've got into the whole stand-up scene, and I've got to kind of hang out with these comedians that have just got some wicked opinions on life and politics. And I'm touching on subjects that I've never spoken about in a public space before. So here is a very funny man, a good friend. And if you haven't seen him, you've got to go see Hyde Panaser live. He does his own specials, his own shows. Go find him on social media. Here is the brilliant Hyde Panaser on the Tommy Sandhu podcast. Enjoy. That's my doll welcoming you in. Welcome, Hyde Panaser, to the Tommy Sandhu podcast. You all right?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. It's very nice for you to have me on.
Mate, come on.
In my little office thing.
What, yeah, where are you? There's some shelva?
Yeah. I mean, well, where else am I going? I'm in like the shed, basically. This is my little man cave.
Oh, is it one of at the back of the garden job?
Yeah, one of those, yeah.
Yeah, is it? Okay. But if that's at the back of the garden, bro, you've done a proper job on that. That's like got walls.
Yeah, it's not a shed.
No, but like, is it the standard extension at the back of the garden thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Punjabi.
No, but there are different levels to how well someone does that shed. Because, like, okay, so my mum and dad have had one in their last house. They got one in their house now, and it's always been like they do the breeze block, but you've done the render. You've done rendering on the inside.
No, it's like a proper apartment.
Oh, okay. So what's the rental that you're getting on it a month? What are you getting? Oh, sorry. We're not talking about that.
It's me. It's my blood, basically. That's what the rental is.
Okay, right. And have you taken that over? Is that your little bit of Jameen in your care?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. No one's getting in here, and I just about get out.
So, like, what is? Look, you got proper files and stuff. Is that just dressed like to kind of to look professional? Like,
this is just like there's nothing behind them. It's just a picture. There's just empty shelving behind it, just to make it look like, oh, I actually do a bit of work here and there now and again.
You open up the file, and it's like, this is my Panini collection from 1992.
There's just food and snacks behind there. That's all it is. Oh,
that'd be awesome. Actually, I love that. A folder of like snacks. No,
yeah.
Nice little sluts. What have you been up to? How's things? I haven't been in England for like now 3 and a bit weeks, and I do miss it big time. Weirdly, I know it's cold and all that, but how's things? What's going on? Are you out and about?
Yeah, it's gotten cold. Yeah, we're back. I'm back out doing gigs now, so it's like a lot nicer. I've been up and down the country for the last few weeks. Actually, since I saw you last in Harrow, actually. No, not Harrow. Hayes. Hey,
that was about 2 months ago, something like that, wasn't it?
Was that 2 months? Okay, yeah.
It does, and I feel like I don't know whether it's because I'm here, but it feels like now is the time. Everyone talks about, everything getting back to normal, but it feels like it now. Are you getting all that mad numbers of calls now, like, and you can't do stuff?
Yeah, it's starting to get really so the last couple of months have been completely like crazy busy. So I've been going up and down the country doing gigs and stuff like that. And then there's people calling about, can you do this and there's like, obviously thank God, but like that it's got to a point where you can start saying, well, I'm not available on this, I'm not available on that. But there's still like weirdness about, no one really knows whether it's going to carry on like this. Do you know what I mean? It's like that feeling of like, are they going to shut us down again? Or
no, you see, you know what that's like? That's like you've had a bad relationship and now you're carrying your baggage into the next relationship. So like 2021 is like, no, it wasn't me. It was 2020. She was the one that broke your heart. She's the whatever, bleep. Right? Yeah. But I'm all right. You can't be treating me like that, but we are. You're right. You're nervous. You're like, no, I don't believe you're gonna. Yeah. This is all gonna.
They
close
ain't loyal,
down.
Man. They ain't loyal.
No, these COVIDs ain't loyal. So
yeah, these COVIDs ain't loyal.
but because this time last year, Christmas last year, bruv, there was no work. It was nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
No, nothing.
And I remember I got super sick. Actually, I got the COVID thing on Christmas Day.
Everyone's really hesitant about saying, "Yeah, I got COVID," because everyone
Yeah.
just moves another 2 meters back.
Yeah. No, bro. Worse than that, just before I was coming out here, because it was just before half term, and I met, and it was an Indian school mum in the playground chatting, and she went, "Oh, you know," and she had a bit of an accent. She was, "Oh, how are you?" And I said, "I'm okay. I'm okay." I don't know why I put the accent on.
Indian or Welsh? What was going?
Yeah. She was actually a combination. She was a opera singer from Mumbai. Yeah, and she goes, "Oh yeah," she goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Dubai for, you know, taking the wife and kids for a bit, and then I'm going to stay on and work for the cricket." She goes, "Yeah, I want to go." She goes, "But she's this, honestly, she's a meter away from me." She goes, "We wanted to go, but I didn't pass the COVID test." And I'm going, "You know, you want to go, get away from me now. You're going to ruin it for all of us." You know, like, it's like,
yes.
But
I'm gonna say, I've got a school opposite me, and in the morning, during like when the kids were allowed to go to school during lockdown and stuff like that, they were just still having their mothers' meetings outside in the corner, and like this close to each other. Like, you might as well have been like kissing each other, because it was just like, what? Stand away! Like, or even now, like, obviously, like, people are a lot more vaccinated and stuff like that. But I'm still like, yeah, let's let's just talk like this.
No, you're right. I don't trust it. Keep a nice little distance. And out here, they are mask militant. Put your mask on. Put your mask on, sir. Mask. You need your mask. Every hotel, everywhere you go. Whereas that's kind of dropping off now, isn't it, for everyone at home?
Here we've just become really British about it. It's like everyone's like looking at each other if you haven't got a mask on, but they won't say anything. So it's like, that's how British everyone is. Like, oh my God, he hasn't got a mask on. Yeah, like that kind of thing. And but then you walk in and you're thinking, do I need to wear this? Because it's like, obviously the government said, like, well, they recommend it, but then that means you don't have to wear it. Basically, in everyone's minds, it's like,
you realize this with all of this has happened, is how simple people are. We need to be told. We need to be just told, yes, no, can do, can't do. If you leave it to people to decide, then, and it's like my kids, I've got to go, no iPad from Monday to Friday night. On Friday evenings, you get it. You can have it for a bit on Saturday and a bit on Sunday, but from Sunday afternoon, it's literally bang, 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 very clear. These are the times.
And the rest of the time, you're sitting there on it, just playing all the games in front of me.
Right? Sometimes, no, it's funny you say that. Sometimes I'm playing games on it, and he'll be like, "Well, what are you doing on the phone?" Right? And I'm like, "I'm doing work." I'm like, "I'm not doing work.
It's always work."
I'm playing cricket. I'm playing the new cricket game I've got, and I have to style out even my hand movements, because if I'm flicking, then he'll know, like, you ain't typing like that. I don't know what typing you're doing.
Just typing with a flourish.
Yeah, exactly. I'm being flamboyant.
Yes.
What?
And full stop.
Exactly. I love it. I realize that people just need order. And are you glad then? Are you glad you got, because, you know, as kind of comedians, as freelancers, as people on the circuit and all that, there is no order. There is no, you know, it's one of the biggest problems in my relationship is kind of like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 2-3 days time, or like something could come up and then you're gone, you know. It's hard getting order in that. Or are you all right with not having order?
I as a person, I like a little bit of order. So, like, you know, when because I'd done a 9 to 5 for quite a while before, you know, I broke into sort of comedy and stuff like that. So, like, I'm still weirdly enough, even though I've been doing comedy a longer time, I still like a bit of order here and there sort of thing. So, but having been like cooped up in a house for like a year and a half or whatever it was, and you know that was enough order to last me a lifetime, I think. So like now it's kind of like I'm, you know, like one day I was in Manchester, the next day I was down in Southampton, and then, you know, so I'm kind of going, it's wherever is the work, that's where I'm sort of going now. But you know, in between that, I've got my little things where I need to be like set. Okay, so this time I'm going to be doing this, and this time I'm going to be doing that. So if I'm not writing or something like that, then I'm, that's those 2 hours there or something like that. So I have,
well done,
yeah,
well done. You'll
I tried to.
You're a better man than me. What you want to go away? You gonna try and get on a plane, or is that too risky yet?
It's always been risky with a face like this. So I'm taking one for the team,
for other people. Well, because we don't know how militant you are. So or what you are. You are just generic.
That's the worst thing. It's just like turning up to airport security. Is that like they just get like, where do we put this person? Like, do we? Is it randomly selected, or is it full body search, or what? What are we going for? Always a full body search. I just walk through like airport security like this now, like because I know I'm going to bleep as soon as I get in there. I just walk through like this, hands up, legs out. That's it. Just do your worst.
You bring your own tail. Like, look, if you're going to go full cavity.
Look, if you're going to do it, how about you use this one? It would be pleasurable for me and for you.
It's better for my skin. It's lovely. Do a full mileage with it. No,
I'm still hesitant, to be honest, to be on a plane, depending on where I'm going. It's just long things out, to be honest.
No. The way you said that was, I'm hesitant to get on a plane, depending on where I'm going. Like, if I'm going to an Asian country, you're more hesitant than like, hey, if I'm going to France or Italy, I'm like, hey, they're cool people. They won't have COVID. Up there will have COVID, right? But no.
We
not the
don't
European.
know what the situation is over there.
Right, exactly. What kind of factories you running out there, man? What kind of crap you got okay, so you wouldn't go back to the Bend, but you wouldn't want to go visit.
I think even without COVID, I'm good for the Bend at the moment.
Oh, really? Why is that?
There's a lot of stuff going on there at the moment, which is like questionable for a lot of people, especially people that look like me anyway, like Sikhs and stuff. So you got the farmers' protests going on and all that, and I think being in that situation at the moment is probably you're better served to be helping out here than it is to be in there, I think.
Can I ask? Okay, real talk. This is about as real as it gets for me, right? Because I didn't comment on the whole farmer stuff, and it's so funny because people jump to. I only got a handful of messages from people said, "How come you're not?" And if I'm honest, my thing on it, and I got a message on it the other day about it, so I messaged someone back about it, but I haven't got involved. I tell you why. For my own life issues, things I've been through, I don't trust anyone now. Particularly, and when I say anyone, I mean of management, politicians, what I don't know what to call them, because I'm just a regular bunda, just doing my thing. I want to be funny. I want to look after my wife and kids. I want to try and make a bit of money. I want to be happy. Just quite simple, like just live and enjoy. I don't want to get involved in the workings of life. I want to leave the workings of life to the people that want to run the world and life. Good luck to you. I'll be down here with the people, right? And so when all that happened, I was like, there's going to be more to this. There's going to be more to it. Like, how did the Punjabi politicians not know? But then I didn't go in and look into it. Rather than say, and I didn't want to put out there, I stand with farmers. I just did, because I was like, I stand with injustice. I stand with unfair treatment. And actually, then I felt like a bit of a hypocrite, because I felt like on a social media level, I was jumping on something to kind of go, hey, I'm someone who's known in the Sikh Punjabi community, and look, I'm making it known to everybody, Tommy Sanders is a good guy. And I thought that felt a bit contrived. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I get you.
And also I was like, I only use my social media and the stuff I put out there to reflect funny stuff, comedy stuff. That's what, or silly stuff, or my family stuff, things that I'm like, that's me in there. But actually at home, I'm quite boring. My wife said it when we got married. She goes, you don't really say much at home. I'm like, no, but it would be weird if I was Tommy the presenter or Tommy the trying to be funny guy at home. That's weird. And I'm not. I just happily watch telly, cook food, and play with my kids. That's all I want to do.
That's what I get a lot though, because like out of my family, I'm like, like if they do like a show or something like that, and people being like, oh, you must be laughing all the time at home, and my sisters are like, Nah, he's a moody. He's a moody.
He's a moody shit.
He's at home. He's like completely like doesn't want to talk to anyone. But it's like, yeah.
And
you can't be that same person all the time.
No. So that's why I was like, oh, I've not got behind anything. I don't, you know, when people have that certain tile day, like put this tile up on your Insta, I don't do that. Also, because I don't really care for social media that much. Like, it doesn't mean that much. My actions, my conversations that I have with my friends and family, like I've spoken to people who are more connected to the Punjab than me about it. And I've gone, well, you know, what's going on? They went, oh, this is what it was, and this kind of issue. And I kind of go, right, you know, well, I hope they sort it out. But I feel like hypocrites saying I stand with farmers when, you know, they're going to go, oh, yeah, I'm a Jat Sikh, my family are farmers and all that. But, bro, you know, my basil plant dies after 10 days. I can't even look after that. So what kind of Jameen can I look after?
But
you know,
I think you kind of said it before that you're just like just a normal banda just trying to live his life, which I think a lot of the farmers are that as well. But when you're getting your land, and it's like if you're living in London or wherever you're living, and your government is constantly taking away like your privileges, your land, your money, this, and you're not able to. It's like the cost of living going up here. We're not obviously at the same level as we are over there, but like I think it's just some of the situations like when you've got to a point where you've got nothing left to kind of you're only trying to feed your family at the end of the day, and you've got nothing left, and you think, well, we've got nothing to lose, so we might as well go and camp out over there, and hopefully if something comes of it. Otherwise, we're just wasting away anyway, doing what we're doing each day. So I think in that sense, it's kind of they're just normal people trying to earn.
And I mean this with total respect. Help me. What's the latest on it? What's happening, or what do you know? Because like I said, like you know what, like because obviously, I mean, I went to the peaceful protest in Trafalgar Square. I was there, right? Yeah. I didn't post it because I'm like, I don't, you know, I don't want. I guess I don't know. I got a thing about wanting. I don't like to share negative things. I want to be a force of positivity in my heart, and I want to share good things. You know, like happiness. I just want to put. I don't want to magnify negative, and it is negative. It's a terrible thing that's happening. It's an unjust thing that's happening. But what it tell? Just please tell me what is now.
So I'm sure there's like a lot of people out there that have a lot more insight than I do. But I again, like I kind of look at what's going on social media, which is where I think a lot of us get our news from anyway. But like, you know, I think there's something inherently wrong when a group of people have been protesting for like, I think it's been a year now, where they're living away from their families, away from their home, and they're not able to earn a living. But then I think there's a big testament in it where, you know, the strength of those people. There's also like people that are coming in to do, you know, they're also still not. They're still helping their community in the local sense as well. There's been pictures of that. I mean, from all I know is that the farming rules have not been reversed, and this is what they're trying to, you know, just act on their rights of like being able to earn a living stuff. So I don't know exactly what the latest is, but I know that they're still protesting, and I know that they've been there for a year. And I think that kind of says quite a lot if you are, you know, away from your homes and stuff. And it's just, I mean, that's a terrible thing if your government is like looking at you and thinking, well, let these people, and then, you know, there's a lot through, I'm not going to go into all that, you know, infiltration and all that sort of stuff. That's, you know, that's been happening, has happened, it's been proved, whatever. But the thing is, I think it's more about those people who have been away from their homes and not able to, you know, sustain their lifestyle. And it's not even an extravagant lifestyle. They're just like you said, they're just trying to live, earn a bit of money, feed their families, and that's it. But if you can't get on and do that, if someone's stopping you from doing that, what else can you do? What else can you do?
Bro, trust me, I know the feeling of injustice. I know the feeling of having your livelihood ripped away from you. So
exactly, yeah.
And you know, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't kind of do more or could have done more, but I hope it all kind of works out. And I know it's actually affected farmers across India, you know, from other communities as well.
Yeah, and it's not even Punjab. It is across the.
Across, and you know, and actually, I mean, we've had Satnam Sanghera and a few other people on the podcast recently talking about empire, and and that's what makes me. It's making. Maybe it's the age and phase I'm at now, where I'm just more open to it, and I'm open to having this conversation, and I'm not embarrassed about saying I haven't done enough, and I'm sorry. You know, I haven't said enough, and I'm sorry. I don't fight the cause, and I'm sorry. I really am. And I will, and I am. And this podcast is really about that as well, about me kind of stepping up a bit and being a bunda about it. Do you know what I mean? Being standing for something, because I wanted to live my life like a flipping Disney movie and go, everything's lovely, everything's great. Let's just all have a joke and a laugh. But you know, life ain't a joke and a laugh. And sometimes life comes along and slaps you in the face hard, and it affects everyone around you and your family. And you know, and I've had it in my own little way, and now farmers or other people are having it in their own fights. Yeah. And it just, don't know. Like, look, and if I'm just going to bring it back here to change it slightly, but it's kind of go, this is where I think comedy's great. And it's why I've loved it. And I'm blessed that someone like Altaf and Desi Central came along, because Altaf pulled me into comedy and went, you got to do this. You get on stage. You know, I wasn't getting any work. I'd been slapped down, name tarnished, all this stuff. And I'm going, but I didn't say anything, I'm doing all that. And it got me to comedy stage. And I'm like, there's this little space called that comedy stage. And it's flipping amazing, isn't it, Hyde?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think sometimes it's the realists that you can see people at, although they're using humor to do it. I mean, I use a lot of my, you know, personal experiences, but rather than slap them over social media and stuff like that, how, you know, some people might deal with that, that's fine. But I try and find the funny in it, because life, like you said, life has got the bad parts to it, it's got the good parts to it, but like, you got to be able to navigate those, because that's how it's going to be. If you went through life with like just everything was perfect and everything, what are you going to learn out of it? Nothing. So I think it gives you a stronger character. Also, you see things in a different light. So within Sikhi anyway, you've got like this concept of Jaddigala anyway. So you have high spirits constantly. Whatever's thrown at you, you see, you have to stay in that high spirit. So I think I always attribute doing comedy to that, where you try and be in a happier state of mind, and if you can pass that on to someone, that's even better. Like, you know, they can connect with you connect with complete strangers. That's the best bit I like about comedy, is when you connect to a room full of strangers and you're all on that same vibe and you're all laughing at the same thing.
Nothing beats it. And what's so nice right now is, particularly when you and I have done comedy nights, and as we do with lots of the team of people that come do the Desi Central kind of nights, I love our green room chats. I love our car journey chats. And you can't even like make those up. Like, comedians have got like such opinions about, I mean, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Will E, you know, the black comedian.
Really Robo. Right?
And he had really strong opinions about Marvel movies. You know, like, you're a grown bunda. And he's like, nah, bruv. When someone's looking at you, they're going, they did wrong on that. They did wrong. Their portrayal of that character. And I'm like, you kind of go, and obviously I'm like an observer. I've always seen that. I'm a presenter. We interview the artist. In school plays, I was the narrator. I wasn't the actor. You know, like, so I just watch. I was a DJ from the booth, watching other people. You know, like, so I've always just had like this. I love characters. And there's some wicked conversations that go on backstage, but that bonding thing, there's a brotherhood, a sisterhood amongst. It's not. I mean, you get on well with everyone, and everyone really does love Hyde Panaser. They love you, man. You know that, but I know you must know that, because you get on well with everyone.
I don't know that, but like, obviously, from my point of view, I try and get on with everyone, because I think, well, you know, my whole ethos, and my parents have obviously taught me this, is that, you know, you treat people the way that you want to be treated, and I've always lived by that. And if I'm going to be rude to someone, then I should be fully expecting that back as well. But I mean, like, comedians as a whole, we're quite, I say unique. I mean, unique in like the oddest and the funniest type of ways. Like, we could be one way on stage, and then off, like I'm just saying, like, I could be really funny and laugh, jovial on stage, and then when I go home, I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. Just leave me in the corner, and that's it. Just leave me alone, sort of thing. So we can be quite weird in that sense as well. But the green room chats are sometimes those are even better. I mean, there's a number of times I've said that we should be selling tickets to the green room chat rather than the actual show, because that night, there's been times where we've just like killed ourselves laughing off stage, and then when you go on stage, it's just like that's work, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then the fun bit is the green room chat. I think that should be a show, the green room.
But
chat,
also because of the way you are, and I love it because obviously I host comedy night, so I don't. People say, "Oh, you're a funny guy. You got any jokes?" And I'm like, no, I don't really do jokes like that. I don't, because you guys.
Well, neither do comedians. Sorry.
Say that again. Oh, I've lost you. Go on, say that again.
Yeah, I said neither do comedians. Really, we don't really. We just tell life stories most of the time.
Yeah, but I like just chatting to the people and trying to find the funny. But what I've noticed about you is backstage, you're actually quite relaxed. Like some people, like they need a few minutes to go off. And I see comedians doing it in the wrong way because they don't want to say like, oh, I need to just go get my head into my stuff now because I'm about to be on stage any minute and I'm not ready in my head. But you will carry on doing giggly bakwas chat right up until the minute you go on stage. Why is that?
So? Underneath, I've heard this a few times from people who are like saying, "Oh, you look so relaxed," like sort of thing. Underneath, it's a whole different. I'm like thinking, what am I gonna say? Like, I'm just gonna die on my art and stuff, like, and I'm just like. Inside, it's just like panic station. Because I've always been like that. I mean, maybe I've gotten better with it with time of like how to kind of deal with it outwardly, but inside, my heart's going about 150 miles an hour. Like thinking, but I think maybe that's my coping mechanism is like the distraction part of like having a bit of a joke before I go on stage and stuff, and like trying to get into the groove of things. But I think. Outwardly, it's like an iceberg.
yeah, you're right. And you're like, well, and you're just ready to steer straight into it though. That's the thing. It's an iceberg. You're gonna hit. You're like, well, let it come. What you who's funny for you at the moment? Who are you watching? Because there's so many comedy specials and all that. Or what have you seen recently?
So I've obviously been watching Dave Chappelle's all this controversy that's been going on and stuff like that. I'm not even going to enter because I think I'm too small to be able to get into that conversation and then get cancelled.
Dave can get away with it. Yeah.
Dave, I mean, he can get away with it, whatever you say. But I think what I took away from it is that he's at a point where he can make those statements, and he can, whether you found it funny or not. I think the underlying thing is that sometimes we can forget that that free speech part of it should be allowed and should be protected, because otherwise then you're being shot down for saying things that you might think. I mean, whether those are his thoughts, whether that was funny, whether you thought it was funny, whatever. He's done the craft. He's got to a point where he can manipulate it in the way that he wants to do it, and I think for that, I think it's fine. You could, but there's other comics where you might think, well, that's not that funny, or that's not that edgy or whatever. But then there's other people be like laughing crazily at them and stuff like that. So I think that's the thing about comedy, is subjective, and it's like art. So one piece of art might be offensive to someone, and I think if you're not making someone think, whichever way, like whether it's being offended or whether, I think you're not doing it in the right way. You're just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, I fully agree. And when his stuff came out 2017-ish, when all those he did those three specials at once, that was, for me at the time when I just got let go from the BBC, that was like a godsend, because he was talking about cancel culture. He was talking about networks. And this is what I mean, coming back to what we touched on earlier, kind of management, powers that be, offering him big money to kind of be there. He uses offensive language. I get some kids listening, so I'm all right with some swear words in here, but there's some younger people listening in the car with their kids. I don't want to say anything too offensive, but he kind of him being used by the system. Yeah. And I suddenly, and it was then I think I started seeing oh, there's a system, there's layers of it. And that's why in this more recent one, he kind of talks about, my issue isn't against trans or isn't against this or isn't against, it's beyond that. It's about what we can and can't say if we want to, and what that means. And it's like, I still haven't quite got my head probably around all of that, because you got to really know where the world's going. And I think that's what comedians do. They look at, they can sort of feel the way the world's going in a different way, you know?
Yeah. And some comedians, they get it really wrong. You know, they say it out, they haven't articulated the words to be able to say what they're trying to say. And yes, they will get it wrong. But the thing is, I think with Dave, he's with all those other specials that he did, and I think this was just basically like the conclusion of like of a body of work, and I think it was quite well done, to be honest. And if you're going to look at it at face value, then you might get offended. But if you're not looking deeper and looking at like really the underlying what he was saying, then yeah, definitely you're going to get offended.
But listen to the way we're talking about it. This doesn't sound like we're talking about comedy. As I just thought we're almost talking about like a social spokesperson. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like,
because this is it. Dave, I think he's reached another. Look, Dave, I'm calling him on his first name because, you know, we're like that.
Dave.
Mr. Chappelle has. I think he's reached another level of comedy where you kind of become you're pointing out social injustices, and you're pointing out those indifferences between people, and it's not even between people, actually, it's between the people and everyone above that, which are the managements and the governments and you know, the networks and stuff, who are the gateholders.
And again, that's exactly my point. And I'm like, and you know what I realized? I don't know how much you can really win it. I think though the gate holders, whatever they call,
gatekeepers,
gatekeepers. That's it. Not the gate holders. I think the gate holder is the bunda that holds
the one
the
in
gate.
The back holding the gate closed, man.
He's the guy. They're like putting it to the fence. Right? That's the gate holder. He ain't got no power. He's got strength. He ain't got no power.
But no power. Yeah. All right, I get you.
The gatekeepers.
It's the keepers. They've got the clipboard and everything.
Yeah, man. And beyond that, they got more than the clipboard. They wrote the program. They wrote the system. And I worry because I think, oh man, those, again, through my now knowledge of empire and things like that, I'm like, oh, those people always exist. And you know, they're black, white, and brown. They're all colors. And they exist on every level in every nation. They're not determined by race or even gender to some extent. It is mainly men though, but they
white.
operate on a negative level. So actually, mainly white, mainly men. But you know, I think greed gets the best of anyone, you know, in any position. And I think you know, you kind of come to an age, Hyde, where you kind of go, I don't know if this is the world I really signed up. Well, I didn't sign up for anything. You know, I was born. But like, no,
this is the
all this.
That
No. And if I'm honest, I'm out here in Dubai, and what's so lovely about this place is, particularly here on a slight side note, is there's so many, I think there's 3.5 million to 4 million Indians and Pakistanis living here.
Yeah.
And bruv, they are brothers and sisters. They are absolutely wicked with each other. There's a camaraderie, there's a support for each other, because effectively they're all immigrants to the Emiratis, and they're all on a level, kind of like a mutual playing field. So there's, and then you look at like the UK and sort of tensions between India, Pakistan, and all that stuff. I'm like, oh no, you got it so wrong over there, you know.
But here's the thing: I have always heard from my parents that it never used to be like that as well.
Exactly, same here, and they said that.
So where's that creeped in from? It's obviously certain things where someone's gotten higher than the other person, and then jealousy creeps in, and then you're like, oh, and all that sort of stuff. So
I think it's the gateholders, keepers, whoever they were. Yeah,
the gatekeepers. Yeah, that's what I mean. So they've obviously seen this. I think they've seen this, and then this is exactly how you know, the empire happened and stuff. They've seen everyone living together. And then it's a case of like, you know, divide and conquer.
Right.
So that's what's kind of happened.
And also, you know, you hear about all this about how amazing and how strong that region of the planet, let's just call it now, is what is now the Pakistan, India, Punjab side.
Yeah.
How great it was. And I know, obviously, it's very easy for me to say as someone who's got roots in Punjab, and I don't want people from other parts of the world to kind of go, well, you know, he's just banging on about his own people and how amazing they are. But when I went through, no, but the world recognized it, and the riches and all that kind of stuff, and the success and what they stood for. But even now, you know, you go to the Punjab, or you go to that, even, you know, I meet all the Pakistanis here, and there's just a big heart to them all. It's the Jaddi Kala. It's what you said. It's just that spirit of people, and I'm like, and it breaks my heart. In two things here, and this is very selfish of me. It breaks my heart to think what could have been had the divide not happened, because I think that would have changed everything around the globe. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And in my own small little way, and I'm sorry to bring it back to this. This is I know very little of me to think like this, but I kind of think, I got ripped away from my audience. I had a divide from my people when I had my job taken away. I feel, obviously, I am going to feel unfairly and completely unjustly. But when that happened, I was like, this is my partition. This is me kind of going, and now you, Tommy, you stay over there. And even though it was a successful show and all these things, and it was most listened to, all that stuff, it was my divide. And I'm like, okay. And then I had my injustice. And that's, again, why I was like, I had nothing in me to fight for anything else or any other causes, because I was just about holding my own shit together. But But I always weirdly laughed through it. I cried through it as well, but I laughed through it as well, because I think comedy can help you in so many ways. And when you hear about Chappelle and all the things you're saying, God, I can't imagine us doing anything else, you know, to get through
this is it.
Life.
So here's the thing, right? So there's been I've been doing comedy for over 10 years, right? And in that time, there's not been maybe a month or maybe a week where I've said, I don't want to do. I shouldn't be doing this now anymore. I'm quitting. I'm not. You know, most comedians will have that thing where they're just like, nah, I'm not doing it now. But you can't also at the same time you can't imagine yourself doing anything else. So when you're on stage, that adrenaline. It's like a drug. You just kind of keep coming back to it. So there's been many times where I thought, I need a bit of a break. I'm going to let me see if I can step back from it. And then someone would call up and say, can you come and do this gig? So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be like that. A couple of days later, just doing it sort of thing. Yeah. But
go on. No, I was just to add to that, twice now, and it's always been the Glee Club Birmingham. I've driven home after the show, and got back about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I haven't gone to sleep till about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Because I feel electric. I can't describe it. And I'm just, I don't know what it is. It's like tingling kind of awakeness. And I'm like, I know I should fall asleep. I am tired. I've been up all day, but and that's when, you know, I think this is for me somewhere, you know, I've got to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And, the thing I've heard, you know, obviously, like, you know, the build up of adrenaline and stuff like that, that's coursing through your body. So I'm like that. I can't get to sleep very easily after I sort of come home from a gig or something, and it's gone well. If it's gone bad, then that's even longer. Then it's longer. But the thing is, though, I was speaking to a comedian before I went on stage. Some other gig, I can't remember. It was a little while ago, and because I don't know about you, but I kind of, just before I go on stage, I feel like tired, and like there's this like little bit of a tiredness that creeps in, and so like I'm stretching and trying to get my thingy. And another comedian was like, "Yeah, I get really tired." He goes, "Apparently, it's like your instinct of like fight or flight, so your body starts conserving your energy before you go on." I was like, wow, I never. And then when you go on, obviously, then you expel all that energy and stuff, and then that's why when you get home, you're still running through that sort of the chemicals in your body and stuff like that. But yeah, doing that, I wouldn't give that up for, like, I don't do drugs. I say obviously people might not know, but
Oh
what is
really?
this guy on?
You look proper Amelie to the max to me, man. No.
You know what I mean?
Same here, right? So
yeah. No, yeah. So I don't do drink. I don't do alcohol. I don't do drugs or anything. So for me, this is my high of my life, sort of thing. So this is what being on that stage, and this is what I was saying, connecting to like a room. It could be. I've done gigs where there's been 5 people in the audience, and sometimes that's been better than even like 100-seater or 300-seater. But connecting to over 300 people or 100 people, and they're all laughing at what you've just said. For me, there's no bigger high than that. And then going forward, it's like this is why I'm like being part of it that makes you feel like, oh, I'm going to give up now. It's like those gatekeepers come into it as well, and it's like, because when's the last time you saw someone looking like me doing stand up on TV as well? It hasn't happened in the last 10 years since I've been doing it. So it's like you're trying to fight that system as well as your own kind of abilities, and trying to get better yourself and grow better without anything going in. So I mean, that kind of keeps me going as well, as like trying to be the better comedian, or bettering yourself as a comedian. So that kind of I can't see myself doing anything else.
Well, don't you do anything else, Hyde. I love you, man. I know, I really do. And thank you for your time. Cheers for chatting. You're going to be on again. This is just, I want this podcast just to be, me, some friends, popping on, having a chat, some people of inspiration. I've honestly, hand on my heart, I've talked about things with you that I've never said in public before. And I was properly nervous about, I didn't know we were going to talk about farmers and this, that, and the other, whatever.
Yeah, neither did I.
Right? Look, and we've never had that conversation before. It's not like, oh yeah, let's get Hyde on the seat and we can talk about the farmers. But it wasn't that. And this is what I mean. What I love about backstage and all that is we get to just kind of go, hey, what's up with that? And you get to ask the kind of question like, yeah, but isn't it? And I just want to question things, but I don't want to upset no one. I really do. I love life. I love people. I know you do. And I just want everything to be okay. Tell me it'll be okay, Hyde. Will it be okay? Okay. Then you hang in there, and I'll no doubt catch up with you real soon, bro. We see you on stage somewhere. Yeah. All right.
Definitely, man. See you soon.
Thanks, Hyde. Cheers, bro. See you, man. Hey, before you go, have you hit subscribe to the podcast yet? Have you done that? You should. Have you also started following the Tommy Sandhu podcast on social media? That's on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. Do it. Do it. Because then, when those annoying little notifications pop up with the random stuff that you've agreed to let into your life. Okay, delete those. Let some Tommy Sandhu joy in. I'm going to be talking to the good people. I'm going to be having some fun chats. Why not have those on a daily basis and get the notifications as well? All you got to do is hit subscribe and like and follow. And it's free. It's free. It's our favorite word. Asians love free. Say it. It's free. Oh, it feels good. Go on, do it now.